Good evening, Australia. We're here, fingers crossed. So, little backstory, little story for you all need to know. Firstly, welcome to Psychic TV International. Fingers crossed we stay on air tonight. I have been having nothing but major tech issues tonight. I don't know what is going on or what is happening or what retrograde is going on up there, but it can F off, basically. I have had all my ring lights die right before going live. I am literally using my bedside lamp as the only light source I have tonight. Like, fingers crossed. All we need now is a power outage. You know what? I'm not even going to put that out there. My internet has completely died. I have no internet. I'm using my phone as a hotspot. So yeah, that's happening. And production has completely disappeared. They are not able to log on. So I am steaming this ship along, or whatever you want to call it. So we're just going to have a big improv night. And one of our psychics has actually called in sick, just on top of all of that. So we have the beautiful, absolutely amazing, and thank the angels that we have the Mermaid medium on tonight, who is going to be doing readings for you tonight. Rosemary is not on tonight. She is unwell. So it has just been a snowball of just stuff. But hey, you're here, you're watching, and strap yourself in. It's election night. Anything's possible tonight. We might even have an exclusive later in tonight's show. Maybe we can have a vote on who we think is going to become elected. Anything's possible tonight. It is going to be run a little bit different. Oh, and by the way, obviously Harry's not on, so I am not Harry. So I am your guest host for tonight. So thank you for watching. I think production might just be coming back on, thankfully. It's all happening tonight. It's all happening. So strap yourselves in. Do say hello. So we've got Jocelyn and Jen and Veronica and Kathy. Hello. Hopefully, please do like and share this page. We want to obviously reach as many people as we can. Like I said, absolutely anything can go tonight. Anything is possible. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be informative, inspirational. It's going to be funny. All the above. It's going to be a little bit different. So we are still going to do psychic readings tonight. Election night, yes, my street is. So yeah, it's all happening. It's all exciting. So far, Labor is in the lead. I do have information coming through, so I'm getting updates on where we're at tonight. Not that it kind of really matters. We're effed either way. But you know, some people are interested, some aren't. Can you see the comments? I can see some comments, Veronica. Yes, I can see yours. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jocelyn. I think I've said hello to you all. So yes, do like and share this page. If you would like a reading tonight with the lovely Mermaid medium, like and share this page, and in your comments say you've liked and shared with your question. We are also going to, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. So we're still going to do psychic readings tonight as always, but we're going to have more of a Q&A sort of informative night as well. So the Mermaid medium and I, we're going to talk about things like love, manifestation, whatever sort of comes up. We're going to learn a little bit more about the Mermaid medium. So it's going to be quite an informative, hopefully inspirational, fun, funny, whatever show. It's a bit of a circus tonight. For some reason, the universe did not want me to go live, but I went, no, it's happening. We're here. It's Saturday night. It's election night. There's a lot of energy in the air. Just wondering if there's anything I had to say. Hi, Nita. You know what? I'm not going to waste any more time while I'm still connected. Let's bring on the Mermaid medium and have a bit of a chat. Welcome.
Aloha.
Aloha. And we just lost production while I said that. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Of
How
course
are you?
we did. I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here tonight, Michael. It's always such fun when we're doing the show together. So here's to our Saturday night.
Here's to a Saturday election night here in Melbourne. Now I should probably start starring some. I'm just going to. No, I don't think there's any questions. So if you do have any questions, please do. We are still doing readings tonight, so definitely do put those questions in. I'm going to do my absolute best to monitor everything. Usually we have production in the background that sort of helps star and do things. We don't have that tonight, so we're going to do our best to make this work. And it's Mermaid Medium and I, we're going to make it work. For those that may not know who you are or how you work as a psychic, do you want to just share a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Michael. I always would love to share about that. So, all right. The way that I work, first and foremost, I'm a psychic medium, which means, I'm connecting directly to the spiritual world that is very commonly and most often loved ones past also your spirit team, sometimes animals and ancestors come through. So it could be any number of those sort of, the demographic. It could be the angelic realms at times. And there's a real distinguished difference between those different energies. And the really great thing about that is because it's like when you're a medium, I feel it's like you're learning this language which helps you to decipher who and what is coming through. So through our different clair senses, you've probably heard of them. If you're on this show listening, it's very high probability that you've heard of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, all of these different clair senses, by the way, that we all have connection to. It's just some have a stronger connection or muscle memory than other people. But I truly believe that we can all utilize and develop these gifts within that are innately connected to us. So through those clear senses, they're almost like channels in which you're receiving this information that can be then interpreted and shared. So the medium as the bridge or the go-between from one energetic sphere into the next. So the spirit world into the physical world. And the medium's job is just purely to translate and convey the information or message that they are receiving for the sitter or recipient. So that's in a nutshell. That's what I
That's a
do.
big
But
nutshell. But yeah, I
that's a
love
big nutshell. It's a nutshell. But I get passionate about
how.
talking about
Oh,
Michael.
100%, 100%. I'm going to throw a question at you because it's going to be one of those
Yes,
nights where I am just going to pick your brain. I did warn you.
love it. I love
Um,
it.
we are getting some questions coming through, which is fantastic. So again, if you are watching, please do like and share and post your question for the Mermaid Medium. We probably won't, definitely 100% won't get to all of them, but we will try our hardest to get to as few as we can. We are going to run this as a bit of a question answer Q&A type show. So we're going to learn a bit about yourself, and we're going to learn a bit about, random topics. So if you don't have a psychic question as such, but want to learn a bit more about how to protect, how to manifest, how to, I don't know, how do I know I'm ready for love or whatever, things like that. We can definitely go into details about that tonight. Now, you're talking about your senses and intuitive sort of guide, things like that in regards to how you read and all the things that you pick up. For someone who might think they're psychic or think they've got the gift, what would you say to them in regards to confirming that or working on that?
That is such a good question. It's so funny that you asked this today because I literally had a lovely lady come into my shop today and ask me this very question. Like,
Oh,
these things are popping up for me. How do I know? Sort of thing. And I would say there's a whole different lot of ways that you can get in touch with what is landing for you. And I would say certainly get into your research and start reading. So be inspired by people that have already paved the way. There's so many fabulous authors out there. I'm one of them, but you can find my book on Amazon, by the way. It's called The Mermaid Medium Messages from the Other Side. But there's so many that have gone before us and that have paved the way. I would say get in touch with your physical body because, as strange as it sounds, our physical body is such a big key to allowing information and intuition to land. So, if you're totally disconnected from your physical body, that's actually something that it's a disservice to you in terms of receiving information. Because, yeah, it's like if you ground your energy, if you get into the natural world, if you allow your channel, your body and your spirit and your energetic system to anchor as much as possible, you're going to be like turning up the voltage. So I would say get into your physical body. Another part of that is definitely about having a daily rhythm or a daily routine. So it's like I have a daily routine where I get up, I go for a beach walk, anchor my energy, cleanse my energy field, particularly before I do readings and show up for people so that I'm sort of clear of whatever's going on for me personally. And I like to write about a lot of things because that helps me to digest thoughts, emotions, feelings, and any other stuff that's coming in. I also drink lots of water and I take magnesium to help to support the energy that's moving through. So there are some very simple, almost free or cost-effective ways
of
that you
course.
can
Yeah.
begin to. open your
And then,
channels.
of course, there's people like yourself, and that they can reach out to, I suppose, to
Courses,
really
mentoring.
get some guidance. Yeah.
Yeah, go and get a reading with a fabulous reader. Um, get a mentorship program or a course that's really reputable. I've taken probably over a couple of hundred people now through different courses that I've run online and in person, and I have a
Perfect.
high retention.
And we'll definitely go into detail with the stuff, because
Yeah,
I do want to go into, because I know you do some quite I was going to say the word internet. This is where I'm at.
internet, because that's where
Interesting.
we're at.
That's where. Well, we've still got the internet. But you do some really interesting, fascinating courses, and I'm definitely going to go into more details. But we are here to do some reading, so do
Let's
need
do
to
some
honour those
readings.
that. So I'm going to
Yes.
give you Cassie as the first one that's popped up. It was the big 50 birthday yesterday. I would love a reading. I lost my oldest brother last November and been struggling with grief. I just want to see if any messages from my brother do come through.
Cassie, I'm so sorry. First and foremost, I am so sorry for your loss. I know what it's like to lose a brother. I've lost my own brother. And happy 50th birthday to you. What I'm hearing from him, there's two main parts of this. First of all, happy birthday. And this is a rite of passage for you. I don't know why, but I'm hearing him saying this is a rite of passage, like turning 50. And maybe that's because he's now having his heavenly birthdays instead of in the physical. But for you, what I'm being shown is this is a time where you now have to really step up and have strong boundaries and say no. Like, no is a complete sentence. I'm hearing like, no is enough. So, there's going to be a bunch of people you put out by that, but it doesn't matter because you're in doing that, Cassie. It's like he's showing me you're sifting the gold from the dirt. Okay, if that makes sense. So you've really got to assert your boundaries. And the other thing is, do you have a little girl around you? Because he's highlighting this little girl. I don't know if it's your daughter or some little girl that you're connected to, but I'm just seeing this beautiful cheruby face, and he's showing me protection around this person as well. So I don't know if it's your little girl or a niece or his little girl, but I'm seeing this beautiful connection between the three of you. Um, and I'm also hearing ruby. Now, I don't know if this is ruby a name or ruby a stone, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually a ruby stone and if that's connected to you in birth month or something powerful for you, just for you personally. The other thing that I'm hearing is divine support. So I feel that he is one of these people on the other side now that comes through to show up for you in a way that's very grounded, very anchored. Men often do this. Men that have been with us in life often do this and show up in this way in spirit. But Cassie, I just have to say, this is a very new era for you now. So it's time to forge a path that you wouldn't have normally gone down because you can do it. That's it.
Perfect. I love that. And I'm going to touch base on what you just said about the no part. It's like a lot of us are almost afraid to say no.
Mm,
And sometimes we just have to, you know,
yep.
because yeah, because if we say yes to everything and we take on everything, it's not fair enough.
No.
I am going to, two things I quickly got to do. I'm going to, production's back, which is fantastic. So I am being told to let you all know, and I'm going to just hit refresh here. So thank you for joining. Remember to like and share this page. Mention that you have in your question. Please try and just post your question once. Do not post multiple. I know you really want to get read, which is fantastic, but we work down a list. So even if you repost your question, if you've already posted it, it will get down the list. So by reposting it doesn't mean you get read quicker. It just means that your question's further down the list. So if you've already outposted your question, we will work down the list. But we want to make sure we don't clog up the feed so other people who are posting questions do get seen as well. Now, on psychictvinternational.com online, you can chat to our psychics. We have Benjamin available on 9166, Judith on 9125, Nellie Norm Baker on 9810, and Psychic Sandy available on 9108. If you would like a guaranteed reading now, you can do that. Of course, the fun is here. And where is it? I've just lost the fun. Here we go. Now we're back. Bear with us, people. I am going to, so basically with you, Mermaid Medium, I am going to give you Kathy. You're going to read her question, you're going to give her a reading, and then you and I are going to have a discussion, not about Kathy's question, but about the theme of the question. You'll understand what I'm talking about. We're going to have a bit of a chat about that after. So here's Kathy's question. Like and share, just wondering, will I ever find someone to spend the rest of my life with?
Kathy, you've already found her. Here you are. But the truth is that you at the end of the day, you have yourself. Yes, I do. I truly feel you will. Okay. It's just, they keep showing me a cup of coffee, Kathy. I feel like you're out for a coffee, you're at coffee date or something, I don't know. But it's like a walk in the park. They're showing me it's like a walk in the park. It feels easy. It feels like an old friend, although it's a new person. I think it's gonna be, I'm feeling within 8 months, not far off, really. If you think about 8 months, that's not far away. And it just feels familiar, like, oh gosh, I've known you from before, but you haven't. So I feel like it is a new person that you don't know, and it happens. But here's the thing, and this is probably what you want to talk about, Michael. You are never alone, and
Psychic.
the relationship you develop with yourself is first and foremost the most important one. So I hope that helps, Kathy. Take the best, leave the rest. But I really think that and here's the other key: when you really feel in your whole being that you have, you know, found that peace within yourself, watch how quickly they enter stage left. That's what happens.
I love that. And that's kind of, yeah, what I wanted to have a quick chat about, because we do need to get back to some readings as well. And I understand that. But love is, I think, as a psychic, you would know this. I reckon as a psychic, I probably get that more than once a day as a question, like multiple times. And I get that. Like I've been single now for many years, and I would love to have that second person with me. We all, I don't believe we were put on this earth to be alone. I believe that we were meant to share it with someone. But what I sort of want to highlight here, and you kind of touched based on this, is two things. One, when it comes to the romantic love, soulmate, whatever you want to call it, I always say, and I'd like to get your sort of view on this, Mermaid, is that unless you're 100%, like truly 100%, if you are really happy and content in being alone yourself, then and only then will you be ready to share your life with someone else. But if you can't, if you 100% can't be like, and when I say on your own, I'm talking if you um take yourself out for dinner, to the movies, or just sit in a room alone, if you can't do that and be 100% happy and actually want to do that, then I say you're not ready for love at this stage, because you need to really love to be on your own, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes total sense. And, it's really interesting because we're all sort of broken people in lots of ways, right? We're perfectly imperfect. We all are. And I think that the best gift we could give ourselves ever, and this is something money cannot buy, is to really truly get to know and love ourselves, to their own self be true, because at the end of the day, we don't know if the most valued person that shows up in our life is going to, do A, B, C, or D. But at the end of the day, we have to still be able to come back to self. We've got to be flexible and be able to trust in others, and find love and accept other people for who they are. But at the end of the day, we have to develop that for ourselves first, I believe. Yeah.
100%. And I think too, and I'm just highlighting on this because I know a lot of people are going to get something from this. I can sense that from people that are watching tonight. And I just want to say, first of all, one, you're never alone. I'm sure you agree to that. We're never alone. Even if
Yeah.
you think you are, you're not. You've got your angels, you've got friends. There's always someone, or if they're not in the physical, they're in the spiritual. You are never alone. I think I need to really stress that. So people need to
There's a
remember
whole
that.
host. There's a whole host and team that comes with you into this life. So yeah, you are never alone, even if you can't see them.
Yeah. But in saying that, you may not be able to see them, but you can feel them, and it's trusting that.
Yeah.
It's trusting that. And don't, I always say too, and I say this to my clients, you're still human. So you can have those days and moments where you do feel a bit alone, a bit isolated. You want to have a cry. I always say to my clients, cry, have a cry, because you'll feel better after. It's just, I suppose, not getting stuck in that space. It's coming out of it, but having that moment. But I always say, if once you can truly, and it's taken me 7 years. So I'm using myself as an example. I've been single now for 7 years, and it's taken me up until this point to actually go, you know what? I really love being alone. I
Yeah.
actually love it. And I don't,
How good
I
is it?
actually, it's so great. I can do what I want when I want. I don't have to work to someone else's schedule. I love going to the movies on my own, and I love going and having. I'll go and have dinner on my own. Like I will sit and just have a glass of wine, a nice meal, and I will enjoy that. And I always say, when you get to that point and you actually enjoy just your own company, watch how quickly the love comes. That's
Absolutely. I fully agree with that, Michael. And I also think not one person can be everything that you desire, you know? So I think that you will get different pieces of gold, different threads of gold from different relationships. So maybe it's not a romantic partner that can bring every aspect that you truly desire. You know, soulmates can come in the form of friends, in the form of family members, sometimes in the form of animals, maybe, you know, different like familiars or something. Yeah, I believe that not one person can fulfill all of those, you know, sort of wishes.
things. And Veronica has just made a really good point. I forgot to say this. It's being alone but not lonely. There's a difference.
Yeah, there's such a difference. You're right, bang on, Veronica.
Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, I had something fall.
It's all
um,
happening tonight.
it's all.
Yeah, so alone but not lonely. It's such a big difference. And I think people struggle with it sometimes because you know when hard things happen in life it can take a real blow, like we can have a real big blow. And you know, especially if there's trauma, if there's grief, if there's loss, it can be really hard to bounce back. I've been there. I've been brought to my knees in my life many times over. So I speak from a place of truly knowing what grief is. I really mean that. Um, and so, but I think it's our ability how like to move forward again. How do we pick up the pieces? We're a very resilient breed. We really truly are.
Really,
So
100%. I do 100%. And Reagan has just said it's crazy. I need to hear that right in this moment. And I had
I'm
a
so
feeling.
glad.
I
You
had a
knew,
feeling that there are a
Michael.
few.
You said
Yeah,
before we
I
got on.
must be
Yeah.
psychic. Yeah. Um, but I had a feeling that the conversations we're going to have tonight, people, yes, we're not doing a lot of readings because the night is just a unique night. But I also just have this intuition feeling that people just want information, general information about what we've just spoken about and things like that, that I think they're going to get or take
So much more
more
out of
from.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're bang on. It's just it's one of those things is like listening to a podcast episode that's really inspiring and you're like, "Oh my God, I remember that." It resonates so deeply that yeah, it might be generic information, but it's actually something that speaks to many, many people versus like one person's thing. So if you're
Exactly.
taking something positive out of this, I'm really, really happy for you.
100%. And yeah, ignore me. I've just had a few just things start to fall in the room that I needed to grab. So anyway, that's all fixed now and sorted. I'm so sorry. I am listening. And now you have some feedback from Cassie. She has said, he was a pillar of strength for us. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you. And I fulfilled my passion and started my dream in youth work. That is what my brother always wanted the
Sweet.
best for me. So thank you for that, Cassie. And I just saw Cassie and Kathy. I just realized has said, thank you so much, Mermaid. That was beautiful, and great messages all taken on board. So thank you for that. Now we're going to give you your next. Oh, look, see, everyone's actually liking this. I love my own company and
My
exactly what I
company.
needed to hear. Thank you. um, and Jen has said, Jen, one of our regulars. I'm not in a relationship, but I have my two wonderful kids and my beautiful dog, so I know I'm not alone. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
and it's
funny. I was
just
seeing a dog before too.
exactly. All right, I'm going to give you your next question so people feel like we're not doing readings because we are. I am going to eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm just going to find one that I'm going to give you, Veronica, one of our regulars as well. Anything you see for me would be welcomed.
Aloha, Veronica. How are you? Beautiful. I always love your energy. It's just so bubbly and contagious. It's like seeing a champagne glass or something. Look, Veronica, I always say this because I always feel this. I see so much travel around you all the time. It's like there's air, there's movement, there's travel, there's new destinations. I see business opportunities. Like, have we talked about this before? I feel like you have this business on the side bubbling, or there's an idea, there's something that you are going to grow, and it feels really big, like like big for you, successful. So I'd love to have a chat about that one day. But the other message that's coming through is your connection to the earth and to the natural world, and like it's this thread around, I don't know if I'm going to say conservation or awareness. It's sort of like some people come with this sort of humanitarian mission. I feel that you're here to do something really positive in the world. Um, I don't say that regularly, like every day. Yes, we all are, but I mean on a mission, like a humanitarian mission. So yeah, in service. So I don't know. Let us know in the comments where that lands for you, or if you've even thought of that. But yeah, that feels like this beautiful, big interconnected web where you're connecting other people and services. Let us know.
Let us know indeed. And hi to Jane Brady, our CEO, who's just joined the thread. So welcome on this crazy night tonight. It is definitely retrograde or something's going on because Jane, if
Election
you are,
night.
it's election night as well. So Jane, I don't know if you saw the start, but we've had everything you can imagine has happened. Basically, I am using a lamp because all my ring lights have died. I'm using a little lamp. My internet has died. I'm using my phone as a hotspot. It has been a crazy, and we've had a psychic obviously pull out. So it has just been, you name it. Production left because of tech issues, and they're back now. So it's just been, but we're having fun, and like I said, I like the fact that we're having more of a chat tonight and giving sort of generalized and sort of advice in regards to, you know, tips. I suppose I don't know if you would call them tips. Probably more. What would you call them? More like what's
Words
the
of
word I'm looking for
wisdom.
here? Words of wisdom. Thank you. Now, speaking of words of wisdom, you teach. Now, tell us a little bit about your school and what it is, because it's not just the psychic stuff you do. There's a little bit of witchy poo stuff that goes on as well, and I really love the Wiccan
Yes.
side of it. So, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do there.
Okay, so yeah, I do. I've got this beautiful new center, myself and my business partner Kiki. It's called Elements Women's Wellness Center, and out of that space, but also very commonly online, I teach psychic and mediumship development for starters. But I also teach the craft, and this is where we come together to basically connect with your own craft your own way. So this is about how do you honor the cycles and rhythms of nature? How do you work within, your word magic, like the words that we speak into existence manifest the life that we experience, right? It's all part of it. So yeah, there's that little bit of witchy poo magic as well. But there's a very grounded approach where we look at the spheres of mind, body, and spirit, because we know that in order to be well, you need to not eliminate or leave out one of the spheres of, we can't be just all in the spirit and not grounded in the physical. We need to be here in this world, in this place, grounded and then connected. It's like you've got to have roots to have wings. So that's the approach that I
I
take.
love that. You need to have roots to have wings. And it's, yeah, I'm just sort of sitting with that for a moment. I really love that. It's like the same example of, um, uh, oh, I had the example. Now the example was like, nah, see you later. The walk before we run kind of thing, the
Yeah.
walk, all that kind of thing. I love that. Now speaking of manifestations, because that's a big one for a lot of people, and a lot of people
Yes.
want things and then get disappointed when they don't happen, and there is that sort of frustration, and then they either don't believe, or the list kind of goes on very quickly, because we do need to get back to some readings. But what would be the best advice to give our viewers, on how to correctly, or at least achieve better manifestation?
I love this question so much, Michael, because I feel that I take this into my consciousness every day because I really believe in this sort of work. Okay. For me, manifestation, It's a very practical application of everyday steps that we take. So we're active participants in our own life and destiny, and we take these steps toward our goals, and we leave space for the magic. And the space that we leave for the magic is what I believe and see that spirit does, right? So it's like when we show up and we give our percentage, let's say we show up and give 50%, 80%, I feel that spirit doubles or triples that. And then they show up and they move mountains. So they're like, if you show up, we're going to show up more.
Oh, or show nothing at all.
It
Are
sort of
you there?
reminds me of I'm
Uh,
here. Can you hear me?
yeah, you just disappeared. You said show up and then you disappeared.
Of
So you
course I
showed
did
off.
it. Yeah. That was
But
some
yes.
manifestation. It's like we show.
Oh, she's gone again. Is it just me, or every time you
No,
say the word, every time you say
that's
the word
weird.
show, you disappear.
Yeah, that's weird.
As soon as you say show, you disappear. That is, but this is the night we're having. Um, anyway, wrap
Um,
up what you're going to say.
yes, what I was going to say is when we take those action steps toward the life that we are desiring, we have to leave room for the magic. The magic is what we call manifestation. So then we have space for those beautiful golden things to land, So, yeah, that's my in a nutshell take. I could talk about this for a lot longer, but I'm so mindful of time.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I am getting some breaking news in my ear as well at the same time. They have just predicted a Labor victory for our
Yeah,
government. So for anyone that are watching, not that everyone, politics is always a tricky thing, but they've just pretty much predicted Labor to win. So that's you've heard it first here tonight. We're a bit of a variety show tonight. You have got some validation from Veronica. I will go back to the manifestation stuff, but Veronica has just said, my dream is to go back to where I started in South Africa to do something for the beautiful people who are in rural areas and need help. That is absolutely beautiful. This is such an amazing reading. Thank you so much. You filled her heart with joy. I do love the way you read. It's so calming and fulfilling, and yeah, it's absolutely, it is, it's magical.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Veronica. That's really special to hear that feedback. It is always my intention that people will leave a session with me, however short or long it is, feeling uplifted and empowered. I think that it's more important to help people to leave in an empowered state than disempowered, because ultimately so much of your life is in your hands that you can't even conceive of how much, but it is. So take the power back, get the advice when you need it, absolutely, but take the power back and take the steps toward what you want in your life.
Definitely, definitely. And I think too, on top of everything and talking about the manifestation side of things as well, one of the biggest advices I got, and I sort of passed this on, which is kind of common knowledge as well, is stop focusing on the absence of it. A lot of
Yeah,
us focus on what we don't have, what we didn't get, the absence basically of it. If you focus on just the absence of it, then that's all it'll ever be. It won't manifest to anything else. Focus on what you do have, or
absolutely.
yeah,
Like
work with
gratitude is everything. Gratitude, like
100%.
yeah. So if we can give thanks and truly feel it, not just sort of tokenistically, but if we truly have gratitude, sort of, I'll go past somebody in a wheelchair and I truly feel so grateful that I have working legs. I am so thankful. Like that is all I'm thinking of in that moment. Oh God, thank you so much that I am so capable. So
100%,
I
and that is so important as well, definitely. But also too, I always say to my clients, work with what you do have. It's all about
yeah,
control in some ways. We try and control what we don't have. We try and force it to happen, and then we get disappointed because we're not getting the results that we see. But it's because you're trying to work with something that's not there yet. It doesn't exist yet. Work with what you've got. Work with what's around you. For example, if it's money, because money is always a number one
big one.
hot topic. Don't focus on the money you don't have. Focus on what you do have. There's food in the fridge. My rent has been paid. You know, like whatever it might be, look at what has been done and what you've actually achieved. And then if you're looking for a new job, or if you're looking for I'm going to use a job because that's more of a current example for a lot of people, and they always say this kind of, uh, not just picture yourself in the role, for example, but whatever that title is that you're looking for or wanting, tell people that you've already got it. Tell people that, like for example, with me, I'm getting into event planning. I've always wanted to get into events, and event planning is something I really want to get into. I tell people I'm an event planner. Technically,
Yep.
I'm not, but I tell people that because that is what I am. That is what I want to get to. So I say, yeah, with that, what do you do for work? I'm an event planner. You know, Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't work for some people. It is based on the circumstances, but if that's something you want, then start acting that way. It's not about faking it till you make it. It's actually just making it
Being
happen,
in
and
the
that's
frequency. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I think also looking at the resources that you do have available. So it doesn't have to be a physical resource. It could be, but it also could be a mental resource. Like, okay, what am I good at? What are some of my, big qualities? What do I have innately within me to offer? Sort of looking at what have I already learned and studied? What do I already know? So we are never at a loss, really. We always
No,
have something to draw on.
definitely. Now, speaking of drawing on, we do need to get back to some readings, but people are
Let's do
loving the
it.
chat. So they are
Good.
getting, I'm getting a lot of positive comments, including from our beautiful CEO, Jane, who's loving as much as everyone else is tonight. The energy is fantastic. It's looking like very much a Labor victory. They're confirming it even more. It's a high prediction, but anyway, because it's the night for it, so why not? All right, let's get into some readings before I get too distracted. I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the beautiful Claire. I believe that's how you say her name, Claire. I hoping you hope you're all having a great evening, which we are. How can you not when you've got us two on? Was wondering what's in store for me in May, and if there are any messages for the lovely Claire. Thank you.
Hi, Claire. I, first of all, May, I feel like for you is a whirlwind. I feel like you will be going to events, celebrations. There's going to be something that pops out of the blue. And, you've only got a few weeks really, like there's only 4 weeks or something, but it feels like there's event after event. You're going to have Mother's Day and there'll be other things that roll off the back of that. The other thing I'm feeling is a male in spirit around you, an older male. I don't know if this is dad or granddad, but it does feel like a male that you were very close to, Claire. And I feel that how do I say this? He feels like a bigger man than you, and I feel that he had something up around his chest or there was a constriction. Let us know in the comments, but I am feeling that. But the feeling that I have connected to him and you, there's he's handing you a bunch of flowers. So I don't know if that's a birthday celebration, anniversary, but there is a beautiful bunch of flowers coming through for you. And this is just simply, I love you. Okay, so I just feel this beautiful father or grandfather energy for you, Claire. The other thing is there's some more little people around you that are coming in. And can you see spirit? Do you connect with spirit yourself, Claire? Because I'm being shown clairvoyance. Okay. I don't know if that's a play on words, but let us know. Hope that helps you.
Perfect. I'm going to throw you into your next reading because then we're going to have a little chat about that. So you'll
Yep.
understand like we did before. So this is from the lovely Penny. Um, I got a new job. Will this go well? And will I manage mentally and emotionally?
Hi, Penny. So first of all, congratulations on the new job. The feeling that I have around this is it's a little bit up and down emotionally. Now, part of this, I'm going to say very bluntly, feels like there are new challenges that you're possibly not quite comfortable with yet. Now, we have in our brains ways that we like to stay safe and feel secure. And that's usually in the things that we know, right? So, in order for us to do something new, our brain needs to form new neural pathways to feel like it's safe enough to continue or to go down that path. So some people get that confused with intuition or logic, or the feelings of not feeling safe because it's new or different. I'm just being shown that you've got to give it the time that it needs to unfold. Ultimately, trust your gut, but also be discerning with what's new and different, and you're learning something new versus um, an anxiety around the unknown, if that makes sense. I don't feel like this is a forever place at all, Penny. I feel like there's many more steps ahead, but it is a place for a time, and it will serve you for a purpose. So just take it like that, and you'll feel it within your heart. Ultimately, you're quite in tune, so you'll end up going where you need to go at the time, but give it a go for a bit. Hope that helps.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely will. And what I was going to suggest, separate from the reading, but similar with the theme in regards to, so she asked, will it go well? That's the part not on the reading for her, but a lot of us do ask that question. We do changes, we go through something, we might receive something. And a lot of us, and I do the same, I've just done it recently, so I can use myself as an example. We quite easily go to that, will this work? Is this the right thing? And it's almost like, as you said, we do really need to give it that chance and that time. I know for a lot of people, including myself, I struggle with change. Like I
Yeah.
hate it.
A lot of people do. And it's because we're wired to want to feel safe. We're wired for the familiar. But and it takes a bit of restructuring our thought systems to be bold enough to sort of do different things. It's like if you want to form new habits, if you want to form new living habits, lifestyle habits, but you're not willing to get up and move your body, then it's unlikely that your new habits are going to happen because you're not showing up, right? And so it's going to
Mm.
feel uncomfortable for a while, but then you start to get a rhythm and a routine going for something, and then it becomes much more known and comfortable and achievable. So, yeah, that can apply to any area of life, whether it's a work situation, a friendship, even. Sometimes going to events feels uncomfortable, but then you're like, oh my God, that was the best night ever, or I met this amazing person. I could have done something else, but I showed up.
And that's it. And on top of that, I always say, don't feed into the fear, because that's what
That's right.
confuses us. We feed
Yeah,
into the fear, and then it stops us from doing what it is we need to do. I always say, and don't confuse fear for excitement either, because some fear is
that's
actually a
right.
good fear.
Yeah.
Um, and you can turn that into excitement. But yeah, don't let the fear take over, because it has no place or purpose.
That's right. And that's what actually creates these sort of negative emotions that we experience as humans. All humans do. So it's not a bad thing, like some of the things around manifestation, or even like say The Secret. And it's not about not acknowledging that we have emotions, thoughts, and feelings, because that would be stupid. That's not human. We all have thoughts, feelings, emotions. So we acknowledge it, but we just don't let it take over and run our lives. That's the difference.
And on that, Galen has asked, how do you know if you've had a spiritual awakening?
Oh, that's a really good question, Gayleen. I feel
Mm, I
like
thought,
it's such a individual answer, because my question back to you would be, well, what's been happening in your life? Like what has led you to this point where you're asking this question, right? Um, but I feel that it's sometimes it's a light bulb moment or an epiphany. Sometimes it's a whisper, and you just have this constant sort of little whisper that comes back to you and you can't ignore it. And then sometimes it's super evident and bold and out there where you can't ignore it. So I feel like it's not a one size fits all answer. But I would summarize it in saying it must be a knowing where there's something deeper in your body. And this is where I say intuition lands in the physical again. It's something deeper in your body that takes over everything else. It's sort of like, um, this is what I've known before, but now that this is come in, it's almost like it's changed my perspective or changed my priority. Does that make sense?
Does to me.
Yeah, that would be a
Um,
sign.
yeah, and a start too, a really good start. And I think too, as you said as well, it's the trust. I think a lot of us don't trust.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And you know, sometimes with change, as we were talking about change, sometimes when we have something come up that's trying to flag us to not go down a certain path, that can be very accurate, right? We want to be able to get to the point where we can discern between our own intuition versus our own limitations or limiting beliefs. So how do we do that? We get really grounded. That's how we do that. We get really grounded because you can't be all up in the ether and the astral and traveling every night and then come back and think like, like having a regulated nervous system is really important. Not operating on fight, flight, adrenaline sort of, not cortisol, like inflammation, all of those things that when we're in this overdrive state, not getting in the scroll hole, the doom scrolling on socials, not getting too much in your head. When you find yourself getting up in your head too much, go outside, take a breather, have plenty of water in your system, flush it out, go for a walk. Just moving our body. And I need to do more of this myself, but even a walk for 10 minutes can boost your mood, and that helps mental health. Having good quality food that aids digestion and of course, that balances our brain gut connection. So it emotionally stabilizes us and balances us out. When we're in when we're in a balanced, healthy space, we're more able to make decisions that are not as irrational or emotional, but are much more grounded and rooted in something practical. So it's like practical magic, isn't it?
Clever, clever.
Michael, I knew you'd
Claire.
love that.
I did. I love a movie reference any day. Claire has said, "Thank you so much." Yeah, it could be my dad who was larger than life and sends me feathers all the time. Thank you so much for the reading. Appreciate it. So thank you for sending in your question. Thank you to everyone. Feedback from Gayleen has said, I'm spiritual and do meditation. I just keep getting a feeling that there is something I'm here to do. Trust that feeling.
Yeah.
Go with it. And don't sort of, as we were talking about before, you don't have to force it. Do you know what I mean? It'll come. It'll make sense to you very soon. I feel like if you already got that feeling, you probably already know too.
Yeah. And I'm also
Uh,
getting around that with Gayleen, Michael, that she needs to not be scared of putting herself in those rooms with those people. It's like I feel that there's people you look up to, but you know how sometimes we pedestal people, but it's like don't even worry about that. Don't pedestal anyone. Just go and put yourself in the space because you will make those connections with those people, and then it opens these beautiful doors for you that you can just effortlessly walk through.
100%, 100%. Michelle from Canada has asked any messages that she appreciates.
I would really appreciate a message if drawn. Oh, Michelle, I feel there's this very artsy energy around you, creative, creative, creative. And it's like, I don't know if you're stepping away from corporate into something more creative, but there is an older lady on the other side, and she feels like bejeweled, bedazzled. I don't know, she's sparkling. I don't know if she loved all of her jewelry and her lippy, but the big sort of hair as well. But I actually feel that she's showing me you're now more heading towards this creative impulse of your heart, which has been a different step for you. So share with us in the comments what's going on. But I also feel there's something connected. I'm just seeing a lot of trees. Yeah, Canada's got a lot of trees, whatever. But I'm seeing you out amongst the trees, and it's like, are you going to film something? Are you painting something? I don't know. You're outdoors anyway. So and they're showing me you going, I don't know if you've ever considered a book club, right? But they're showing me you going into it's like a little cafe, and it's like a book club gathering, and it's like a group of people gather there weekly to talk about this book. So I have no idea. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. Hope that helps, Michelle. I'm an artist, of course you are. They're showing me they're showing me you doing this creative project and it's very successful, Michelle. So hope that helps.
Beautiful. That inspired me actually. I need to get back into, well, not back into, I'm still doing my art, but I'm just being really lazy at the moment. And if that's a question for you, this is a personal, not
Yeah.
a personal question, but I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. How do we find that motivation? How do we sort of, if there's a passion or something that we know we should be doing and we're not really doing it, and I'm sure you're the same, we have our moments. What
Absolutely.
what advice would you give to our listeners, I don't know what you, the people out there, what would you say to get back that motivation? What tips do you do or have?
I love that question. I was talking about this with a group of women today, and it was so funny because I've got a friend, she might even be watching tonight, and she was like, we had an oils workshop at the shop, and my friend said, "Oh, I've got this whole collection of oils, and I have to get them out and use them." And I'm like, literally, this whole workshop has just talked about everything that you need, and you've already got it. And another lady said, "Yeah." I said, "Hey, have you got a walking stick? I'm seeing you with this walking stick." And she said, "Yeah, it's in the plastic case." And I said, "Well, Spirit's saying, get your bloody walking stick out and use it, right?" Most of the time, we've got the tools we need, whether they're external or internal. Like that's what I was saying about resources before. Look at what resources you've got, and it has to be, if you've got out of sight, out of mind, it has to be in your field. Sometimes we've got to see it. So put it on your bedside table if it's a thing. Put it in front of you. Put the affirmation on the mirror that you're going to see every single day. Make it a part of your daily rhythm so that it doesn't feel like this extra hard thing to do. Slip it in there. There's always time if you make time. That's not an excuse. That's just lazy. And I know people have hard, complex lives. I've got one too. But it's just like slip it in there, make it part of your routine, and watch your life change.
I love that. I love that. I do want to highlight Kathy's feedback saying, fantastic show tonight. Really enjoying this format. Um,
There you go,
watch this space.
production. Maybe watch this space,
Watch
baby.
Well, it's legit. Like, so Jane, if you're still watching, I've been meaning to message our CEO. I actually have an idea that I want to put forward to our CEO.
Michael's going to pitch
Sim
it.
so watch this space, Kathy. Something similar to this format might be coming soon through Psychic TV. I've got to speak to our CEO about my idea and go from there. So, but yeah, I do feel like as much as people want questions, answered, and we do definitely do that. Sometimes just a general conversation, people get a lot more out of that because we don't do that often.
No, and it's just, I feel like it meets, as I said, I feel like it meets so many people. And they're a lot of the time they're things that you're thinking, but you're too afraid to ask.
Of course, or you might feel stupid to us because you're like,
That's
oh, I should
right.
already know.
Yeah.
Um,
Or I don't want to be the
so
one to ask the question. Yeah.
Michelle has given you feedback. Her husband passed away 2 years ago, and I finally think that I'm ready to continue doing my art. 100%.
You're
100%.
such a powerful artist. I feel that's how you channel, Michelle. It's like your way of channeling, through your art. It's incredible. Yeah, got to get back to it. You're so
Definitely.
good at what you do.
And Penny has said, this is a job I wanted, and I'm so excited to get it. This is trauma counseling and using all the skills that I have learned. So thank you for that.
Amazing, Penny. You're going to be so good at it. Just use the time and space, and like get that experience that in
Definitely.
that field.
All right. We have 6 minutes. So I'm going to give you one more question. So keep it short, but
Okay.
obviously detailed as always, before we have a final chat to wrap up this baby.
Yep.
From New Zealand, Tony wants to know, will my business start coming right? It feels stagnant.
Or Tony, I'm getting all the feels and goosebumps around you. First of all, I have to acknowledge you've got a few people in spirit and they're all dropping in. The temperature in my room has just dropped a few degrees, no joke, and I've got goosebumps all over. So I have to acknowledge there's an older woman, it's Nana in spirit that you're very close and connected to, and there's also a male, and it does feel like a father. So let us know. But Tony, I'm seeing so much different colored fabric around you. I don't know why. And I don't know, it's like, when you see a patchwork quilt and there's just like a collector of fabric, tell us what that's about. But in terms of your business, they're showing me You can make this successful, but you need someone to help you with the social media side of it, because that's a huge component these days. Um, so think about a younger female who's tech savvy, that can help you, that wants to help you and believes in what you do. Because there are people, you have a market, you have an audience. And I believe that you're actually genuinely so passionate about it. And the product, the thing that sells itself. So that's not the problem. The problem is marketing, actually. So you just got to get it out there, girl, and you will feel so much more secure, because you'll be getting more requests for what you've got. Okay, so expect that to shift it. Beautiful ribbon reading. That's why I'm seeing the fabrics. What is? Oh, we got to talk more later. Message me. But so you have so much possibility, but you need someone to help with that more social media side. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I have absolutely, before we wrap up, because I have a quick chat so we don't go over. Uh, Tell us just quickly. I've gone blank. How funny is that? It's completely left my headspace. But that's okay. Tell us a bit about what. No. Oh my God, the words just don't want to come out. How funny. I've just had a brain freeze. Are you going to be logging on to the phone lines after this? Because I think a lot of people are going to want to chat to you.
Yes, I'll log on. I'll log on so you can call me up. And then, like, where to find me, jump over to Instagram, visit Gypsy Living Love, and it will come up underneath the Mermaid Medium. Of course, on Psychic TV. I'm always on Psychic TV at some point. And my website, www.themermaidmedium.com. Also, Elements Women's Wellness Centre, Instagram, Facebook, and website. Check it all out. We've got so many incredible offers, and I do a lot of stuff online, and of course readings. So you can connect in many ways. Got a podcast called The Mermaid Medium with Sarah Fletcher, and I have conversations with lots of amazing people. In fact, I've got an episode with Michael. There you go.
Oh, you do. Do we have that booked in?
Didn't we book it in?
No,
I'm
I think
sure
we're
we
going
did.
to, but it never happened. I haven't done your podcast yet.
Oh my God, Michael, we've got to book it in. Are you
It's
serious?
fun.
I thought we did it.
So did I, but no, we haven't.
I'm already ahead of time. I've quantum
That is
leapt.
funny. That is
I
funny
thought we did
because
it.
so did
God.
I. But no, I definitely haven't done your podcast yet.
Well, you're the first one up on season 4. First one.
Okay. Now I'm questioning if we have. No, we definitely haven't because I would have remembered
I'm
that.
going to look back through that
Um,
tonight. Okay.
yeah, double check, but I'm sure. Anyway, before we do, what's one bit of final advice just that we can give someone just to even just to get through the next week? What general advice could you give to everyone?
Oh, breathe. There's a lot of movement at the station. Like, we know there's this whole political stuff that's going to cause some changes, but just, I feel like this is a time we're going back within now. So autumn's coming to an end. We're going to head into this winter time. Take stock. Come back to self. Get into your reading. Do something creative. Connect with family and friends. It's a time of introspection rather than like energy out, out, out everywhere, if you're in the southern hemisphere at least. So yeah, maybe honor the seasons and the rhythms of nature. Try to get to bed earlier, drink lots of water, all of the things I tell myself every day. Do those things and just feel good. Feel good and give gratitude for the ones that you love.
Beautiful. That's made me feel good. Thank you so much, Mermaid. I will definitely reach out to you. We'll speak soon. But thank you so much for tonight. It is actually the feedback has been amazing. People have really appreciated that. So I just want you to know that tonight you have been really appreciated. So thank you.
Oh, bless you all, and so much love and gratitude to you all.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
And to those that are still watching, thank you. Yeah, I need to get to bed earlier too myself. Thank you tonight for watching. It has been a unique show. Harry, I do believe, is back next week. But either way, whoever's hosting, we are back next week every Saturday at 8 o'clock, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to everyone that's watched tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the sort of different format that we kind of went down tonight. It is a concept that I'm going to bring to our CEO. So watch this space. Things are going to be happening for Psychic TV, which I'm very excited to be a part of. Until then, just remember to breathe. There's a lot going on. Yes, we're currently in an election. It does look like Labor's going to be the success of tonight, but anything can change. But it doesn't matter who becomes government. Remember, like, just control what you can and work with what you can. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much for your support and love tonight, and enjoy your week.